Hi guys, welcome back to the Astro Imaging channel. This is Adam, and today's session is our anniversary show. And we don't really have a specific topic for today, but what we do have is we just want to include you guys in a bit of what we've been doing and the plans that we have for the future. And but as always, before that, I do want to go over to our image of the week, which is by Eduardo Luca Radice. And I hope I pronounced his name correctly, but I'm going to go over to it because it's his M101, and he did a great job with this galaxy. Josh has a couple things that he wanted to say about it, so I'm going to hand it over to Josh, and Josh is welcome to speak on that.
Thanks, Adam. So Eduardo's image was taken with an SBIG ST2000XM on a 10 micron GM 1000 HPS mount. He also lists the 10 micron GM2000 QCI ultra portable mount. He took this with ORGB and also Vader 7 nanometer HA filter. It's about 10.5 hours worth of data, and this is actually part of a collaboration with one of his buddies, because some of the other data in the RGB was captured with a Canon 6D. One of the interesting things that he also talked to me about was layering in HA data with spiral galaxies, and what you can do anytime after the show is actually go to his image of the week posting, and I will post a link over to his website where he actually goes through sort of a mini tutorial that shows how to blend HA into spiral galaxies.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, HA into spiral galaxies, really cool technique for really getting out the and even getting some depth to the H alpha. And it's interesting that one of the coolest things about that is it only works with nearby galaxies because the distant galaxies have been redshifted out of the narrow H alpha range, and I always love cool little factoids like that about our hobby. But I see the room is filling up, and again, I just want to congratulate again Eduardo for this great image. And I am going to jump over to my presentation again. Tonight's show, we're just going to go over some past stuff and some future plans. Sorry, I'm managing a lot of windows here. I don't know if I'm managing them well, but all right. Oh, I clicked the wrong one, of course. Or did I click the right one? No, I clicked the wrong one. My apologies. Now you see the crazy screen, now you see my PowerPoint, and now you should see my full screen anniversary show. Is that the case, guys? Stop me if...
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is our anniversary show. It's actually our anniversary in 1 week because we didn't realize it was our anniversary until after we had scheduled it. But it doesn't feel like it's been that long. I guess it's because we've been having fun. But as you can see there, we're rolling out our new logo, TAIC, and that's a cool logo. Josh designed that, and I'm gonna call out names tonight because we've had a lot of help from pretty much everybody. This is a community effort, and everybody's contributed in their own way. But I also want to kind of share some of our stats with you. And I did this presentation. Actually, I'm going to tell you this in advance because it's been driving me nuts. I had the presentation on my work PC, and I went into work that morning. This is yesterday morning, and my PC was off, which is odd. And I tried turning it back on, and I had a looping blue screen of death, and my hard drive was clicking. So I knew my hard drive was toast, and I didn't back it up because it was just one night. So whatever. So my hard drive went, and I went and grabbed a new one, and I actually redid the presentation, and then I said, let's see what I can get off this hard drive, if anything. And sure enough, I was able to get my old presentation. So I did this presentation twice, but this is my second one because I got this new blue background in the new version of Microsoft Office. And I also got the new version of Photoshop in the meantime. Of course, I installed it on my home PC as soon as I got home, and that crashed. So I had a rough. I don't handle PC crashes well, but Sorry for that long divergence. These are our stats. And overall, we've had 45,000 views, which may not seem like much, but we actually have really good retention. People are spending 15 to 20 minutes each watching our videos. And you can see there, estimated minutes watched, 703,000. I actually checked before, and it was at about 710,000. So our audience is growing, and the number of people, or the number of minutes watched are growing. And the reason I say that is because we kind of do long videos, so it's become more of a community thing. And we have plans in the future to kind of offer new stuff to new people. We're hitting the people who like astral imaging and who know what they're looking for when they come looking, but we may want to kind of attract some people who don't know what they're looking. And just give you an idea what our most popular videos are. Ghislaine, Backyard EOS, look at that, our best video by far. But also PhD2 guiding, I would have expected that. Star Tools, I kind of would have expected that. Lots of people want that. The introduction to our channel, DSLR versus CCD, DSLR versus CCD, that's not a surprise. NEEF recap, setups from the ground up, mounts for astro imaging, 10 micron. Lots of people want to know about the boutique brands, whether they're mounts or whatever they are. We all know about the mass-produced stuff, but it's the smaller brands that you really want all the details about. Beginner astro imaging processing, Warren Keller, great show. Big images, small telescopes, beginner astrophotography primer, SGP, and the Paramount Imaging Workflow. Those are our best videos so far. And I just wanted to let you guys know that. I always like info like that, just to know what people are interested in. But keep in mind, a lot of the videos on that list are brand new, and people have only had a couple weeks to watch them, and some of the ones at the top have been there since our inception. So the newer ones are growing fast. I just want to go through also some of our Image of the Day winners, just to show off some of the great work that has kind of passed through the channel here. This is our first one by Bill McLaughlin, VDB16. Awesome dark dust. That is a beautiful nebula. I was really shocked by that. I don't remember whether this was a southern hemisphere target, but I don't know of this target in the northern hemisphere. Maybe wrong about that though. Sean Harrison, Orion Nebula, great image there. I remember the way he was working on that. And I think everyone has a tendency with the Orion Nebula to put up a first version and then say, wait, I can push this a little bit farther. So he ended up bringing out the dark dust between the two nebulae there, and really showing it off nicely. He put a lot of effort into this, and that was a great image. Steve Coates, the Soul Nebula. I don't know whether we picked this first, but Sky and Telescope picked this first. But we picked this, and then a couple days later I got my issue and I saw it in there. So unanimously good image. Soul Nebula, beautiful. Charles Lito, this one won twice with us. We both like the SAR trails, so we both picked the image, but really good image, Charles. Josh Smith, SH2308. I think this was his first IOTD on Astrobin, but this is a great image. You'll hear me say this a lot, but I love structure in 03. That's like just the coolest thing to me because it's uncommon and really hard to pick up. John Talbot's M78, beautiful image there. Reflection and emission nebula all in one. Pro STCJ, I forget his first name, but the Pleiades, this was just a cool image. Richard Flynn, the Seagull Nebula. This one we watched as he put together and added the different color channels. And I remember when I saw the H-Alpha on this, I was like, this is going to be cool. And it did. Doesn't look like a seagull to me. It looks like an eagle to me. But the Eagle Nebula is already taken. And that doesn't look like an eagle at all, so I don't know what they were thinking. John Bunyan's Rosette Nebula. Rosette Nebula is coming around. It's about that time. So this is beautiful. Has a bit different of a color palette with the blues and the greens. Paul Stewart's Calcium K Sun. Really cool Calcium K. We learned a little bit about Calcium K last week with Stephen Ramsden. But you can see a lot of the structure and the detail there. Zoran Novak's Cocoon Nebula, another great image. This one's also coming around, so we're going to be seeing a lot more of these. But star heavy field, lots of dark dust or the tail of the nebula. Great image there. Brian Odom's Horsehead Nebula, and we had Brian on a few weeks ago showing off his M101, or excuse me, his M101, his Messier Marathon. He imaged the entire Messier Marathon in one night, and I don't know, did he submit that to us for an image of the week? He might have. I don't know why that hasn't won yet. I'll have to keep that one in mind. Eric Cole's M82. This thing's unbelievable. Shot from very dark skies. Actually, Eric's partner in crime is Mel Helm, who does a lot of the detail work, and Eric does a lot of the processing. And you can see here, just a great job. So much of that structure, and I think he did an H-alpha combine on this as well. Stephen, I don't know if it's Doy or Doye, H-alpha sun. Some nice prominences there, some surface detail. Just a nice presentation showing off the sun on that day. Richard Flynn, another one from him, the Coma Cluster, and Richard's always on cloudy nights. He's actually a mod on cloudy nights, so we see lots of his work. This is probably one where he has more galaxies in one long focal length image than any other, because there are a lot of galaxies there. That's a pretty impressive field. I guess that's the amateur deep field palette, or deep field. And then Kafir Simons, our Corona Australis. Wow, that is a beautiful nebula. Reflection nebula, dark nebula, just beautiful. And of course we have, I'm sorry, today's winner, who didn't make it into my presentation because I did it yesterday. But I wanted to tell you a bit about our future plans. First, you've seen our logo, and pretty soon you're going to see that we have a website coming soon. And why do we have a website? Because Google Hangouts is kind of confusing. I don't know if it is for you, but if you're subscribed to a lot of stuff or something like that, it's hard to find the old stuff. And you can go on YouTube, but in general, we want a little bit more control over that, and want to be able to have a little bit more diverse content. So we have a new website coming, and I want to personally and publicly shout out to John Rista, who's been doing a ton of work, and thank him, because this website's a lot more difficult than I expected. We're doing things that are not just the usual things by hosting these Hangouts, and integrating it into Google becomes really difficult. So he's been putting in a lot of times, and thank you, John. So what will probably happen with our website is we're going to continue with these Sunday sections. We're going to do it as usual. We like these things. This is where we really get our biggest conversations going on. But at the same time, we're planning some short videos. And I've said 3 to 10 minutes there, but I think 3 to 5 is probably a little bit better, although if you have a nice tutorial, 10 minutes, no problem with them. But these are just going to be little things to help people out. This afternoon, I started recording. Didn't work out the way I planned, but I started recording a little tutorial on taking flats. And I hope to publish that soon to give you guys an idea, but Josh may be doing some stuff in a little bit just to show you off what those are going to be. And we're also planning some promotional videos. And when I say promotional videos, I don't mean that I want to promote the Astro Imaging channel. What I mean is I want to promote Astro Imaging. The day that I found out that I could photograph a galaxy from my driveway was the day that I ran out and bought a telescope and a camera. Not a lot of people know they can do that. It's not for everybody. But if it's for you, then I want you to know that you can do that, and I want you to go out and buy that telescope, and now you have a resource to figure out what you're doing. So these are 3-minute videos with just very basic tips, or very basic things that people may not know, maybe clearing up misconceptions, whatever they are, just a basic introduction to AP. So why am I telling you this? Because you guys are welcome to share any of your videos with us. We'll host them, we'll share them on our Google Plus page, and that way we'll develop our content, you'll get some exposure, and we'll be helping people in general just find what they need. Knowing the questions to ask is the most important thing. Website's going to give us an image of the week submission wall, so you can submit in one place. Wow, isn't it confusing the way we have submissions right now? We're going to clear that up really quickly. Then we're going to have a winner page, and we're going to display all the image of the week winners all in one place. We'll give you a spot for your blurbs, and it'll definitely be a nicer presentation than what we can manage with Google. And I'm not going to save this till the end, although I was considering it. But in 2 weeks, we have an open session available, and we're gonna start doing some processing challenges. And what do I mean by processing challenges? I am going to provide a couple or maybe 3 sets of data before the session in Dropbox. And when I say before the session, I'm probably actually going to do it the week before the session, and I might talk about it next week. And each set is going to have a particular challenge that I'm going to ask you to perform. It could be anything. It could be noise removal. It could be gradient removal. It could be star reduction. It could be halo removal. It could be anything. But you're going to have a week to look at it. You're going to have a week to figure out what you do with it. You're going to have a week to post your results. But in that session, I'm going to call you out, and if I think you did a good job, I'm going to ask you to come in the session and share your techniques with us. I'm going to ask that you do it during the session, and I'm going to narrate while you do it. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to interrupt you. So you're going to have your stuff together to do it. But please, I'd love to get a few people in here doing this, because it seems like it's a really cool way to process on the fly. I don't know. I'm always sad that I can't make it to those PIX Insight conferences, and these things seem like it could be almost as useful. But as I said, then we'll choose 1 or 2, and the processor will share their techniques. Maybe we'll choose 3 or 4. It just depends on how many people volunteer. And users on the YouTube side can process and post your images and comments. If you don't have a microphone, if you don't have a video camera, that's our only option. That's what you're welcome to do. And as always, we're looking for presenters. And you know, it's funny, I'm realizing I guess I lost the end of this slide. I reverted to my older version. But presenters, whether you want to present, whether you have an article, whether you have a video, you have an idea, you have a mini vid, whatever it may be, feel free. And that's the end of my slideshow. I'm going to jump back over because I know Josh has some stuff to show you in regards to our mini vids. So Josh, feel free to go right ahead.
Thanks, Adam. Can you see the screen with TAIC on it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I just want to spend a few minutes and kind of introduce you to what we are going to be doing with these mini videos. So I'm going to kind of show you our splash screen here, how we'd like these to sort of be formatted and why we're doing them. As Adam mentioned, we'd like to really get our audience to be involved and submit these short tutorial videos to us. And it'd be a great way to get our viewers to participate, and it'd be something that you should be able to learn from in 3 to 5 minutes. Is really what we want to keep these videos down to, something that's short, easy to absorb, and hopefully actually impactful as well. So you can see the front splash screen. We'll probably end up attaching this splash screen to any video that we approve and put on the website, and then we have a second page to the splash screen that's going to have the title of the actual presentation, and then it'll also call you out on your name and the Astro Imaging channel so that people know where to actually find this. So going from that, I'll just go through, and I might have to actually live narrate this right now, but I'll show you kind of an example of what we're talking about here. So this is a mini tutorial on synthetic flats, and the method was actually developed by David Alt. But what we're looking at here is a picture that could not be calibrated very well due to some banding issues on my camera. And you can see it also led to some issues with the flat frames not working very well. And so sometimes you can actually use this method in PIX Insight to help synthetically calibrate out your image. And it works really well whenever you have small structures that are the target. So this is the coma cluster, and it's really a perfect example because there's a lot of small structures. So the first thing you're going to do is duplicate the image and label that image star support. And I'm going to run an MMT on there with 6 layers, and all 5 layers are going to be enabled, and the residual layer is going to be disabled. And as you can see, it creates this star support image over here on the right side. So then we're going to go in and we're going to duplicate the main image again, and we're going to relabel this one the flat image. So you have your star support and you have your flat image over here. And then we're going to run a little pixel math. Basically, you're taking your flat image and you're subtracting the star support from that image. And doing that, you can see it basically takes almost all the stars out. There's some residual sort of artifacts, bigger stars that are still left in the flat, and we're going to show you how to handle those. You can close pixel math for now, and you can actually get rid of star support. We're done with that, so we don't need that anymore. So we're going to run MMT again, and this time on the actual flat image, and this time we're going to run this with the 6 layers disabled and only keep your residual layer enabled. And you can see what happens when you do this is it should actually bring it to something that looks even more like a flat. Pretty much all the artifacts are missing. There's a couple bright spots in the middle, and if we were really taking our time here, you could go in and use the clone stamp to get rid of some of those, but it's going to still show you the dramatic effect that this has on it. So we're going to use pixel math one more time here. And basically we're going to apply our synthetic flat to our original image, and David all shown quite a few ways to use different equations in pixel math, and you can reference the files that he provided for a bunch of equations. But as you see, applying this as a flat over here on the original image was just, it was like magical. Basically all that banding went away. There's still just a tiny bit of a gradient that we can get rid of by using ABE on here. But it went from an image that I was sure that I couldn't salvage and I was ready to give up on the data altogether to after David showed it to me, you basically now have a perfectly flat field. Galaxies still stand out nice and crisp. And it was just a really interesting way and in a hurry. As you can see, I showed you in about 3 minutes here to take an image that looks like it's pretty much worthless and turn it into one that you can turn into something really beautiful. So I ended up using this on my luminance channel and also my red, green, and blue channels, and it ended up creating just a really wonderful picture. So for providing that, and you can look forward to some more of these tutorials. I'm actually creating a series of videos that are David Alt-Pix Insight tutorials because he's has such a good thorough comprehension of Pix Insight. I'm going to turn them into video mode for him. So that just kind of gives you an example of what we're trying to do with these mini tutorials. Like I said, we want probably 5 minutes at the most, and quick hits like that. So other quick hits might be something like putting star color back into narrowband images. It might be your quick way of doing tone mapping. It might even be something to do with image acquisition or maybe guiding. Maybe you have a tip that nobody knows about on PhD2, and that could be super helpful for us. So we will send out an update on how to actually submit those videos. Right now, if you message myself or Adam or make a post on the Astro Imaging channel and reference one of your short tutorials, we'd be glad to take a look at that and try and get it over to our new website. Once we have that new website up and running for you, there will also be a submission box there where you can post your mini tutorials, and once we preview it and approve it, we'll put it up there. So Adam, that's all I have right now on the mini tutorials.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, we're looking for presenters. Remember, this is a community effort. We're only as strong as the rest of the people around us, and most of the best content has come from people outside of the few of us. Although good content has come from all of us, we rely on a lot of other people. Before Alex takes over, I do want to mention one other thing. We have some T-shirts and hats coming, and while John Rista is volunteering to design this website for us, we are going to have some expenses, and if you guys want to buy some T-shirts and hats, we're going to have them pretty shortly. You can contact us. We'll probably have a way on the website to be able to buy that stuff as well. It's pretty much just going to cover our expenses, but if we start getting rich, we'll definitely share the wealth. Although I don't.
Adam, also don't forget to mention that anybody who does a full presentation gets a free T-shirt or hat as well.
Yes, and I did forget to mention that. And there are a few people that have already that are already going to be getting hats and T-shirts as soon as we get them. So just keep your eyes and ears open. And right now I'm going to hand it right over to Alex. Alex, you're welcome to go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I first was like everybody else here. I saw something on Cloudy Nights where Adams was saying, "Hey, let's put on a show, like something from the Little Rascals or something like that." And it turned out to be a lot bigger than we thought it was going to be at first. And at first, it was a little bit of I can't say it was a struggle, but it was interesting to see how hard we had to work to get, to start getting people to participate and to start arranging speakers and stuff like that. But eventually we got it going. And my task today is to tell you a little bit about the shows that we've had so far and maybe see if I can get some of you people into doing more in the future. Can you guys now see my
Yes, we can.
Okay. The shows so far, and by the way, happy anniversary. This is our 53rd weekend that we've been doing this, the 53rd Sunday since we first kind of went live. We are part of Google+, and Google+ does a lot of things for us really well. It provides this Hangout, and there's some things that we can talk about maybe a little bit later in our show today about the Hangouts and how they work and stuff like that. But when we look at the page, aside from our beautiful new logo and whoever has put out the image of the week, the rest of it is kind of confusing. There's a lot of stuff on that, and I think it's hard to tell what's going to come up next Sunday night. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, you might catch that they've got some upcoming events about the anniversary show. For instance, this time or next week, Mark Melnick is going to be telling us about time-lapse photography and putting together movies out of the heavens and things like that. That'll be there, okay. But it's really hard to find that kind of stuff. When we look at this page, we said we got to do something about this. It's difficult to see what the presentations are going to be about. We have to separate the Sunday evening show from the image of the day and other posts, and sometimes people can post in there, and it really confuses as to what's going to happen next. Also, postings are listed according to the time that they're posted rather than the time of the show. And so you really have to scroll through, and you kind of have to know what you're looking for in order to find something. That was really difficult. Besides that, there are no real search capabilities. You can't say, well, what is there about guiding today? Or, I need to know about how can I find out about backyard EOS? There's really no way to search that stuff out in the Astro Imaging Channel page on Google+. Now, you'll notice that on this form, up here you can see it better, I think, it says About, Posts, Photos, and YouTube. And by going through these, you can get to different parts of the show. If you click on the YouTube section, you can see thumbnails of what the last 12 shows were, the last maybe 3 months worth of shows. And yeah, you can kind of start looking from there if you want. But then once you get over to YouTube, you kind of get lost in the YouTube mess. And well, this is kind of why we needed a website of our own where we could control what we looked like. But there were other reasons. We finally, as a stopgap measure, trying to get over this problem, we came up with something called a weekly index. And I'm calling your attention to this weekly index because it can tell you a little bit about what the Astro Imaging Channel is trying to do. The bulk of it is all up here, this big long chart. Now it's got even a little more than it used to have. But that's the 52 weekends we had. We had, what, 45 at the time that this one was printed. But it's got the different topics and what they're about and stuff like that. This top portion, the big portion, is the weekly index. The bottom portion down here, part of our vision is to make kind of an encyclopedia of astroimaging with lots of easy links to videos that people can use as tutorials, and Josh showed you one of them just now. And early on, in the first few weeks of putting this together, some people, Sergio Caballero, Josh, and Adam, they contributed some of those kinds of things to our website, and we do have them. They're still out there, and you can find them by going to the links on the index. We hope to strengthen that a lot more. So there's two basic functions that we've had so far, and one of them is the Sunday evening programs. That's this big long list, and the other is the extra sessions that we really hope to expand on in the future. Taking a more close look at this, you'll notice that it is updated monthly. This is the one from 4/26, and there's another one about to come out. There lists the hyperlinks over here. These blue are actually, if you click on them, you'll actually go to whatever section that you wanted to. It gives you the information on the presenter and the topic and the date, and you get some limited search capability. It tells you if you're looking for beginner stuff, you can go down, run down this column and see what was considered good for beginners. If you're looking for processing in particular, you can go to one of these three columns, and particularly if it's Photoshop or PixInsight, you can find what you're looking for. If you want to know about, well, what does these guys have to say about PixInsight? You can go just look for X's there. Now, obviously, this isn't a modern search engine. This is just the best we could do given what Google Plus would offer us. We hope, as John gets more developed in the website, that this searching is going to be in a whole lot better shape. And also, other categories are acquisition and setup, and the equipment and setup for the for your stuff. So we've got, at the most primitive level, a way to tell if a YouTube video is for you. Also, you can simply just run down the names, the titles of the presentations to find out if something would be of importance to you. Let's talk about the presentations. As I said, there were 50, this is the 53rd weekend, and something like 2 of those weekends were dark for one reason or another. One was Easter, and another one we had a broken leg, broken arm in the family, so we couldn't pull it off. But the other 51 weekends, 22 of the presentations were things that beginners could enjoy, and 29 were either more advanced or unrated. Not that the beginners couldn't play along and watch everything, but I mean, Hytham's Dust tutorial had a lot of really good stuff, but it was pretty advanced. You'd have to kind of know what you were doing before you could really get into it. Gilan's Backyard EOS, for instance, that was unrated. It's for beginners, it's for advanced, it's for everybody. And Adam Jaffe's DSLR versus CCD, for instance, definitely something that every beginner can handle and figure out and that's the decision that a lot of beginners have to do. I picked these 3 as an example just to talk about some of the people that have contributed to the show so far and get an idea of what's happening. Now, I should tell you, while it is in a pie chart and therefore probably scientific and all that other stuff, no. This is us sitting there going, beginners can get something out of that, or it's kind of advanced stuff. So don't take that too scientific as to what all that means right there. But you can say that we are trying to approach the beginner as well as approach the advanced people. What have we talked about so far? Well, 26 of the shows have been about processing pretty much, and that makes sense because an awful lot of our time imaging is actually spent processing. Another 16 is about acquisition, and then 19 were equipment, and some of these, that's more than 51, of course, because some of these presentations talked about several different things at the same time. So you can see that we have a wide range of the kinds of things we've talked about, and we hope that we've met your needs as far as some of the things that you wanted to be seeing. What kind of software have we talked about? Well, a little bit of Photoshop, more PixInsight, and 7 others. I've highlighted some of these: Backyard EOS, Star Tools, PH2 Guiding, Sequence Generator Pro, and the SkyX Imaging Paramount Suite. Those are bold-faced because we actually had the guys that either wrote that stuff or are part of the writing team come on the astroimaging channel and tell us about it for 45 minutes or an hour, or in one case about 2 hours. And you're talking to the developer. You're asking them questions. You're saying, I don't get it when it does this and it does that. Why do we need to do that? Where should we be going with that? And you find out that all of this writing of the software is not quite as easy as you thought it might be, and you also learn how these guys have to think. We've also dealt with Registax and ACP by guys that use it a lot and showed us how to use it and got something out of it. We were introduced to some of these programs, but we've had lots of different kinds of software presented on the Astroimaging channel through the past year. Now, who's done the presenting? Well, there's this group called I called them the Astroimaging team. 29 of the shows have been by these 4 people: Adam, Josh, David, and myself. Why did they do it? Well, I can't speak for everybody, but for one thing, it's because somebody needed to do something this Sunday. And I volunteered a couple of times knowing that I'm not all that good an astroimager, certainly can't process as well as these guys can. I take some good, interesting pictures and stuff, but I think that I've got something that I can tell people about, inform people about, inspire people with. Somehow or another, I can get them interested. So between these 4 people, 29 of the shows have come from them. And we've had 13 others. Now, I want you to check out some of these names. Some of these names are just guys that did something special, guys that wanted to share something that they can do with us. Some of them are they're the developers of the programs. They're the guys who did something really special. Warren Keller, you know the expression, he wrote the book. Well, he hasn't yet, but he's busily engaged in writing the book on PixInsight. He did write and delivered the tutorial series on it. Richard Wright is on the Software Abyss development team, and he spent a lot of time telling us about how the Paramount works the way it does, how the Sky works, and all that kind of stuff. Hytham was particularly strong coming in the first few months. He'd come up with some very, very interesting and challenging tutorials, showed us how to do a lot of really good stuff. But the point being that, yes, some of these guys are really experienced guys, okay? They work, they get paid for doing what they're doing. Maybe it's not their primary job, but it's an important thing that they're doing, and they wanted to come out and they told us about it. But some of these other guys all have other jobs. They all do other things. They're not particularly special. They just had something that they could share. We all, if you're anything like me, we all felt like, what am I doing here telling you guys about all this other stuff? Because, you're probably better at this than I am. Well, even with that said, there are an awful lot of people who have come up to me, and I think that Josh and David and Adam and the other guys can tell you the same thing. They tell you, I really got a lot of something out of that. I mean, somebody wrote me an email 6 months after I talked about Brad Jelena. Somebody wrote me an email and said that, hey, you know what, I'm an anthropologist, and I really liked the example you brought, and I really learned a lot from that tutorial. And I'm thinking, well, that's good, because I was scared doing that, because I didn't really know, who am I to be talking about this kind of stuff. But, people got something out of it. You have to have some kind of, just get over it and come on out and share stuff. It's easy enough to do. We need your help, all right? We can go through this again and again, and Adam said it, and Josh has said it, and I'm saying it again. We need your help. Do you have an interesting setup? If you set your gear up in a particular way to do a particular thing, Josh, I think it was, told us about when he goes to star parties, this is how he sets up. And you have experience with a particular kind of equipment that you'd like to do a review on and show us what you've learned about setting up this new telescope and that somebody else could learn from it. Are you the friend of a software developer? Is the guy that wrote XYZ software a member of your club? Can you tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, we really need you here. We need you to come and just talk for a half an hour. Just sit there in front of your little monitor with your little webcam on and talk about what you do. Are you engaged in a particular imaging program? Do you hunt for supernova? Do you try to image comets in a particular way? Is there something you can tell us about how you do that? How do you, are you an eclipse chaser? What is there about chasing eclipse that I need to know for my astroimaging? Are you imaging all the peculiar galaxies in the ARP catalog? If you are, you know, maybe we need to learn about that. We need to find something out that we can do that's a little different than, oh yeah, here's my M42. Oh yeah, look, I finally got the Pleiades, right? You know, we need people that are doing different things to challenge us to take us on to different things. You saw how, who was it, Brian the other day gave us the presentation about how, oh, it might not have been Brian, sorry guys, but about how he got all 110 Messier objects all in the same night by working with a team of guys. It took some coordination. You know, we tend to get into the real nerdy technical stuff about how you moosh this and moosh that, and how you process this and how you balance that. Is there anybody who's an artist out there that can tell us about color balancing and what colors are appealing or not appealing, about what we really need to get out of composition in an astro object? Any of you guys work close enough to the industry as a vendor, or know somebody who's a vendor who wouldn't mind coming out and saying what the trends are in where we're going in astroimaging? Do you have a peculiar tutorial or technique that you think you do really well that you just like to talk about? It's not really hard to do all this stuff. I'm sitting here in my shorts and t-shirt and talking to you guys, and I've just got my computer on, and it's just showing the screen. That's all it's doing. We've seen Josh, and we've seen David, and we've seen Adam, and Hytham, and these guys. They just sit there at their computer processing a picture while we're watching. And a bunch of people are asking questions over on the side, and every once in a while we interrupt them and ask them a question. All you got to do is get on Google Plus, and in the Hangout, get on the screen share, show us what you're doing, maybe develop a PowerPoint beforehand to show us how you're going to do it or something like that, if you want to, or if you don't want to, don't do that. It's up to you. You get to sign on a little bit earlier. There are only about 8 or 10 people can fit into a Hangout, so Adam has to manage who gets in there in the first place. Everybody else has to go over to YouTube and ask questions on Q&A over there, but you come in, you share your desktop. It's a simple couple of clicks. You do your thing, and you answer occasional questions. You just talk. It's relatively easy to do, and we really could use you. I want to encourage all of you to participate in that. Okay, there are some people who don't like talking publicly. Well, remember, you're not talking publicly. You're sitting at your kitchen table, and you got a refrigerator behind you, and maybe the family dog in the garage, and the family dog's not feeling well. It doesn't matter, all right? Just do it. Just come on and join us. But if you can't even bring yourself to do that, you certainly can come up with ideas for future programs. You can hit us up on Cloudy Nights. You can send a message over there. You can send a message to Adam over on the Google Plus website. If you've got things that you would like to see, please tell us what you'd like to see, and we'll try to get it out there for you. Okay, hopefully this funky old 1950s style weekly index will be replaced soon when we get a real true proper search engine on our website. But for now, that pretty much concludes my presentation, and I just want to say thank you all for a really good first year. Thank Adam in particular for all that he's put together on all these things. There was a lot of work goes into all these presentations. Adam, I'm going to turn it over to you. Remind everybody, put your ideas, suggestions into the Q&A and comment section as we're going along here. Okay? That's it, Adam.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I want to thank everybody else who's contributed, particularly Alex, Josh, David, John, and Hytham, who actually helped us get off our feet and hopefully he'll be back on to do some presentations. He's in the room today, so we have a good opportunity to ask him. I also want to mention something else. Last night I was sitting in my I was sitting on my sofa. Actually, I was probably sitting in my observatory, getting ready to acquire, and the Global Star Party was going on. So there's some guys, some followers of our channel, Dylan O'Donnell, Chris Kennedy, and Paul Stewart, that are doing kind of what we do with video astronomy. You should definitely check them out. They do it Saturday. For me, it was Saturday at 9 p.m. I believe. I'm not sure how long they go, but check out the Global Star Party. They have their own Google Plus page. It's a good thing to do on your Saturdays. I think they're overseas though. I didn't quite get that. I think they're doing it in the morning over there. So maybe they're doing it all for us over here on this side of the pond. Again, I just want to remind everyone again, Mark Melnick next week, time-lapse astrophotography. And now I'm just going to open up the room. Anyone have any comments or anything they wanted to say in the room?
Adam,
Yes.
could you explain how one gets into the Hangout versus who has to go over to YouTube and watch over there?
Yeah, yeah, at first it was easy because we didn't have 10 people that wanted to get in on these things. But even right now I see we have 14 viewers. So basically, if we have a presenter or we have someone who's going to be involved in the show on that particular day, I invite them into the live hangout. I usually invite the presenter for next week as well. So what happens is the room ends up starting to get filled up. I have people, pretty much if you're contributing and you're kind of helping us out, we try and get you into the room. Otherwise, the people on the YouTube side, you are stuck with just the Q&A app. Don't limit that to just asking us questions. You guys can use that to chat amongst yourselves. Sometimes you may ask a good question and have it answered in Q&A before that. I wish we could get more people in here, but it might be a little confusing if we did have more people in, so that's probably Google's intent in limiting it. But yeah, basically contributors and future presenters and past presenters get priority in the room. So that's kind of how it works. And I hope you guys are figuring out Google Plus's methodology. It's definitely a bit confusing, but the Hangout format kind of offers us a lot in itself. So the website should give us a nice front end and help us make some sense of it. Again, we'll have some t-shirts and hats coming, so once we do, we'll let you guys know. Besides that, again, thanks go out to all of our all the contributors in the room and all the past presenters, and let us know what you think we should do. Do you want to see more processing? Do you want to see more acquisition? Do you want one whole show dedicated to some small thing, but you want to get really good at it? The schedule for the Global Star Party will vary, so just subscribe to them, and then you'll find out exactly what time their show is going to be. But they definitely using the format like we are, so get comfortable with it, because I think we're going to be watching a lot more shows and whatnot on our computer, or maybe trying to find a way to get this to our living room. But thank you guys for coming. It's our anniversary show. I'm going to give everyone an opportunity in the room to say something, but if not, I'm probably just going to end it now because I don't think we have too much. I do want to remind you, these challenges are coming up. So keep your eyes on Cloudy Nights. Keep your eyes on our website, our Google Plus page. I'm going to post them in advance. I'm going to give you some time to work on them. Get good with them. You know what you're going to do, because then I'm going to call you out and make you come into the room and show us what you did. But again, thanks for coming on. And next week, Mark Melnick, time-lapse astrophotography. So we'll see you then. But again, thanks for coming, guys.
Happy birthday.